Hello and welcome to your Gravity Yoga class. My name is Chris and today we'll be going through the Miracle Hips sequence. I'd like you to begin in a seated pose and we'll start with our breathing. So go ahead and relax down through your hips and raise the crown of your head a little higher, and we'll start with a 4-8 breath. So inhaling with me now for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhaling all the way for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done. Gently place your right hand on your heart and your left hand on your belly. May these practices heal and strengthen your body and your mind. May these practices heal and strengthen your body and your mind. Good. We'll start with a warm-up of 5 moon squats. So please come to the front of your mat and stand with your feet out by about 11 degrees. Yeah, if you stand in the middle, that's it. Good. Inhale, both your hands up towards the sky, and then exhale, bend your knees, bend your hips, cross your forearms and touch the ground lightly with your fingertips. Good. Inhale all the way up, lift your heart, lift your hands. Exhale, bend the knees, come back to a squat, gently relax the head forward. 3 more times with me. Inhale all the way up, articulating the bigger joints in the body and warming up the bigger muscles in the body. Exhale all the way back into your squats. Good. Inhale all the way up. Beautiful. Reach it up. Exhale, cross the forearms, bend the knees, drop the hips, and just relax a little here as you allow your head to gently roll forward. Take a little nod and a little shake through the head. Good. Gently come to a standing position. Nice. And then turn to your right, and we'll start with our first long hold posture, which is designed to open up through the posterior chain. It's called Ragdolls. So stand with your feet to roughly hips distance apart. Good, and then just bow forward at the hips, bend the knees slightly, and allow the hands to travel, if it's comfortable, down towards the ground. And relax through your neck so the crown of your head can gently float towards the earth. Good, and we're holding this pose here today for 2 minutes. I've started the timer, and in this time we'll focus on the principles of gravity yoga. Principle number 1 is to use the body like a wet noodle, so you're relaxing all the way through your body, just allowing gravity to do the work. Maybe giving yourself a little bit of space. And principle number 2, trying to maintain that breath work that we started at the beginning, the 4-8 breath. Inhaling for 4 through your nose and exhaling for 8 through your mouth. This will help the nervous system calm down. And principle number 3, we're always looking to meet or beat our hold time. Good, and we're just coming up on 2 minutes. At the end of your next full inhale, take a long exhale and gently bring your knees towards the ground. And come back into a gentle child's pose. Taking a reset here. Reach your hands forwards. And then inhale, come right on up into a tabletop position. Step your feet back and come into a plank position. Press your shoulder blades towards the sky. Push your heels out and reach through the crown of your head. Draw your belly in. Good, big breath. And then use an exhale to come back into your child's pose. Back into a child's pose, just allowing the body to reset. Good, and then from here we'll come to the next pose, coming into our supported bridge. Come forward, step your feet through and lie down onto your back. Your block should be handy. And once you're on your back, lift your hips and place your block just behind your sacroiliac joint. to lift up through your hips. And then if you can, comfortably straighten through your legs. And if it's comfortable, you can send your arms nice and wide and allow your 4-8 breathing to relax your body and open up through the anterior chain this time. So we're using the posture and gravity to loosen through the front line of the body so that we can create this lovely supplety in the hips. So many back issues originating down in tight hips. It's a lovely idea to loosen through the front of the hips, preparing for the rest of the sequence. For the last 20 seconds, just listening to the quality of your breath. Good. With as little effort as possible, simply bend your knees so that you can lift the block from underneath your hips and put the prop to one side. Good. Exhale to draw your knees into your chest and just take a simple twist to the left and a simple twist to the right to release through the hips. And a simple twist to the other side, gently through the hips. Good, and exhale to draw your knees into your chest, give yourself a little squeeze, and then rock up into the seated position. And roll over your knees and come into a downward facing dog. Gently maintaining your long, slow exhales. Inhaling always through the mouth for 4, always in through the nose for 4, and exhaling long and slow through the mouth. Soft through the neck. Gently inhale to float your right leg up towards the sky and stretch your right heel out, 3-legged dog. Exhale, draw your right knee into your chest, push the ground away and step your right foot to your left wrist. Inhale your chest high. Get a big stretch through your left hip flexor and then exhale, walk your hands forward into your half pigeon. Starting our timer together. Getting a really nice extension through your left hip to open up through the rectus femoris, big muscle at the front of your left leg, and a lateral flexion through the right hip, opening up through the bigger muscles through the back and the front of the hip, glutes, groin muscles. Remembering your wet noodle philosophy, your body is soft and gentle, allowing gravity to do the work. Good. The last 30 seconds in this posture. I'd encourage you as the classes progress to always seek to meet or even beat your previous hold time. The reason for this is that we're looking for time under passive load to gently lengthen the muscles and change the shape of the guiding fascia that holds those muscles together. Awesome. From here, gently tuck your left toe and exhale to find your way back into downward facing dog, lifting your hips up towards the sky. And we'll come straight to the other side. So inhale the left leg straight up towards the sky. Good, and exhale, draw your left knee in towards your chest, push the ground away, and step the left foot forward for your half pigeon. You can press the top of your right foot down. Exhale to walk your hands forward in front of you, and maybe you rest your forehead onto the ground as we come into the posture on the opposite side. Stretching out through your right hip flexor, and opening up through the lateral left hip. It's important that we maintain our hold for a minimum of 2 minutes But of course, if you're feeling very uncomfortable, I'd prefer that you take a little break and then come back into it. Maybe doing 2 sets within the time frame rather than the preferred 1 set. Or if you need to, maybe even 3. For these last 40 seconds together, we'll take a long, controlled inhale. So let the breath leave your body gently, and then with my count, inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Exhale all the way out. 8, 7, 6, 5. Good. 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome. From here, gently step your left foot back and come back into a child's pose. And we'll take a reset in high plank. So take a breath in, exhale all the way. Long and slow. And then inhale to come to a tabletop position. So you're coming into an all fours position and straighten out through the legs, come into a high plank. Set your body like a plank of wood and then push your shoulder blades a little higher to the sky. Take a big breath in. Good, you're doing really well. Then gently bring your knees to the ground and we'll come straight into the next pose, which is blaster pose. So now that we've opened up through those hip flexors, we're going to come a little deeper into the hip flexors. So if you bring your mat towards the wall, Sarah and I are going to come towards the wall here, and step your left leg forward and press your right bent knee back in towards the wall, or as comfortably as close to the wall as you can get it. Maybe your right knee touches the wall, maybe it doesn't. Maybe you come to the ground a little bit more, maybe it doesn't. Perhaps you can straighten through your left shin so that your left knee is above your left ankle, and perhaps you can interlace your fingers, place them on your left knee, and come on up. And maybe even drop your hips forward a little. You should feel a really good stretch through your right hip flexor, that big muscle. It's called rectus femoris. Getting a big stretch, allowing space back into the hip. We're holding this pose for 2 minutes. 3 principles: wet noodle, breath, and see if you can guide your time through. As we open up through the front side of the right hip, those big muscles that shorten so much when we spend too much time behind a desk. You're doing really well. Of course, if you're finding this strong, you can bring some sort of prop underneath you and place it underneath your elbows for a little bit more support. You shouldn't feel any stress or strain in your upper body. This is a hip opener. So we're focusing on the hips and down into the knees, not the upper body. Good, last couple of seconds here. Focus on your breath and just feel the smoothness and the quality of your breath. Good, and then gently release and we'll come straight into the other side. So step your right foot forward and push your left knee towards the wall as you slide your left foot up the wall, if that's comfortable. And then find your variation as we start the clock again. And maybe you bring your elbows towards the ground onto something to support with. Maybe you place your hands onto your knee, but remember your target focus is the front left hip flexor. So as you drop your hips forward, you should feel a nice strong stretch. This is not an easy practice. This is a challenging practice. And the reason we do this is to make gains through flexibility as we progress with this practice. Targeted flexibility practice. So it doesn't really matter what the pose looks like. What matters is the stretched target area. And the reason we hold the posture for these lengths of time is to give the body something to adapt to. So it should be a challenge. Doing really well. You can even close your eyes if that makes it easier for you. Allow yourself to feel the sensations inside your body as your body changes in response to the practice. Last 20 seconds. You're doing really well. It can be a strong pose for some people. Good, and gently release yourself from the posture and take yourself back to your mat. Sarah, if you're on your mat, you can leave your mat next to the wall. Come on back. And we'll take a little counter stretch. So come to sit onto your mat. Send your legs out in front of you. Inhale, both hands up towards the sky. And then exhale to fold forward from the hips. And just release through the posterior chain, stretching on the opposite side to the body. Using this as a reset pose before we come into our next posture, which is butterfly. And we'll be using butterfly to open through the hips, release through the groin, and lengthen through the connective tissue that joins the spine in towards the hips. Good, so getting ready for that pose. Come and sit onto your bottom and gently press the soles of your feet together and give yourself a little box in between your knees. And then you can send your fingertips out beyond your feet and walk your hands like little spiders in front of you, out in front of you. Reach until you comfortably can. And then turn your palms over. So your palms are facing upwards. You're not gripping hold of anything. Good. And allow yourself to center into the posture for these 2 minutes. I'd encourage you to follow your own breath. Feeling the count of 4 as you breathe in through your nose. And feeling the long count of 8 as you exhale through your mouth. And the exhalation through the mouth calms and soothes the body at a physical level. It's like you're switching off the circuits that protect you from normal stresses in life. Because you're safe here. Last minute in this posture. Last 30 seconds. Remembering if it's ever too much, there is an option to take a second set. I encourage you to give it all you have. All right. So we've arrived at our time frame. I'd like you to gently come on out of this posture and softly lie onto your back. Setting up for our next pose.